When a person has examined lots of stone tools for years, you get a feel for what has been worked, what is a tool, and what is just a rock. Uh, for me to designate a tool, first of all, I make it a decision whether it's abrasion or cutting, and then I question whether it's handheld or hafted. Color is very important. I look into the little ridges of the stone to find the color that it was painted. All of these stones are examined very well, but my biggest thing on if it is a stone tool, which it would be marked, and usually it's with an eye. Very seldom do I find a tool that is not marked with an eye. Of all of these hundreds, they have eyes on them, if not two or three on the same stone, showing different images that person saw. There's lots of images in stones, but for us to see what was designated by that ancient person, we have to look for the eye. Anyway, I won't go on and on about that, but I am going to do something today to show the eye better. These are some of the stones that I do not feel that they had any working. They weren't a tool. They don't feel like a normal stone. I just feel like maybe they're bones. And we'll look closer at these in a minute. But an interesting find I found this spring was this mammoth skull, small mammoth skull, 10 inches by about 8 or 6. But after I've played with these tools as much as I want to, as far as examining them, I like to make art with them. This is a piece that I've glued onto a stone, a fossil. There's many images that are displayed in stone with the pecked out eye. There's birds, fish, bear, snakes, turtles. Can go on and on. But I'm particularly attracted to horses. And each one of these stones is a horse with an eye and a shape and a mouth and a nostril. All of these are. And I want to do a stone horse, several horses running like that with mosaics in stone, similar to the cave painting where there's several horses' heads stacked above each other. Anyway, I will do that and I will show you. Might take a year. But use is always speculative. But I feel that heavy hammers like this were mostly used for breaking up dry wood for cooking. I know when I was a kid and I went to the woods and camped out for 2 or 3 days, Dad had given me a hatchet when I was young, but I used that hatchet most for breaking up firewood. You know, these folks didn't find ricks of dry wood when they moved around. But that's just a speculation. By highlighting the stone in red ochre and then removing high spots with tissue or something, it reveals this eye, triangle eye, raised area, and then that's a horse. I'm going to highlight all of these so that the eyes can be seen better. These are not horses, just these. But there is several others I have around. Probably about 20 really nice horses. This stone has been shown earlier in, I think, my first video, but it's a side piece of a round stone that was, oh, maybe not a whole bunch bigger than that, but it made an awesome axe. It's very, very old. I don't think it was ever used for chopping down green wood. It's still usable, and it's thousands of years old. Maybe a pet peeve of mine is when I hear folks say that stone tools were so available to whip them out, etc., which it may have been, but still, I feel like a tool like this would have been generational, passed down, still has use now. I think many tools were prized. With charcoal and red ochre, I've accented the pecked out, sanded little areas. Not sure what this is. It's just not sure. I think these are bones. If someone out there can tell me, I would appreciate it. Especially this one. I think it's a mammoth or a mastodon skull. It is missing a large or a smaller part of an eye ridge there, and almost totally there. I think the tusk came out there and there. there's the bottom. That may be part of a tusk. That may be part of another one. It seems like I can see a root system, so to speak, on the tusk. It has a depression in the back. I think it's possibly a spine goes in there, maybe. Ow, that's heavy. But I would truly like to know if anyone can tell me if that is a mastodon skull, and maybe even that as part of one. Looks like eye ridges. Yeah, I would love to know. Bye for now, folks. This is a horse within a horse. I'm highlighting the picked out areas, and I'm getting ready to highlight the horse that's within this horse. Good morning, folks. I would like to show you my messy barn. I think artwork is an obsession. I think that folks thousands of years ago, I think there was prodigies in art. I've been making stuff since I was a kid. I think there was prodigies then in art, in music, in stonework. I would like to talk about these two pieces of art. First of all, it's an abrasion tool. That also could have been this. Abrasion tool. Which was also this. We'll talk about these two stones. Art is an expression of the person. My artwork is an expression of myself. I think it was that way many years ago. As an example, when I was a little kid, maybe about 4 years old, maybe 5. I'm the youngest of 11. I have 2 sisters that was just a few years older than me. And I guess they were in charge of me. And we were going down to the creek one day. We lived in Oklahoma on 40 acres. A creek run right through it. And on the way from the house, just not very far, is where we all played ball with a mashed up tin can and a stick. Well, my 2 sisters stopped there and started playing ball. And took a long time before they was, going to take me to the creek. I remember getting impatient, but I wanted to play ball with them. But I was too little, so I watched them play ball. And then they took me to the creek. And I learned how to swim that day because they threw me in the water, deep water, and I learned how to swim. And I learned how to swim that day because they threw me in the water, deep water, and I learned how to swim. This is Edna Mae and Maxine. There was Earl, Virgil, Melvin, Ruby, Carl, Mary Lou, Tommy, Maxine, Edna Mae, Marvine, and me.